So, a movie with Idris Elba as a cowboy gunslinger fighting an evil wizard Matthew McConaughey to save some kid with psychic powers and prevent some sort of multi-universe ending destruction? Sure, it seemed interesting. But seeing as how I hadn't read any of the books, and therefore knew nothing about the source material, I honestly hadn't planned to watch The Dark Tower. However, when the opportunity came up, I decided to go with it, as it might be an interesting take to see what my opinion would be, despite being a non-reader, and then comparing it to the general consensus of fans and critics. Before I give you my critique though, first a bit of background on the book series which inspired the new film. Written by master of horror Stephen King, yes, that Stephen King, The Dark Tower is a series of 8 books that incorporates themes from multiple genres, links to many of Stephen King's other works, and that Stephen King himself describes as his magnum opus. At its core, the series revolves around a man named Roland Deschain, aka the Gunslinger, the last living member of a knightly order based on King Arthur. Throughout the series, Roland's quest is to find the titular Dark Tower, a mysterious building said to serve as the nexus of all universes. At first, Roland is a mysterious character, with everything about him such as his motivations and goals kept purposely vague. But as the series progresses, more is revealed about him. The world that Roland inhabits is quite strange, with it sharing technological and social characteristics with the American Old West, but magic and relics from a technologically advanced society also exist. Along the way, we're introduced to many characters, both good and bad, as well as, funny enough, a fictionalized version of Stephen King himself. Being that the series covers 8 books, there is a lot that happens, and it would take me quite a while to explain everything. Therefore, I apologize for merely giving you the most basic of summaries of the series. However, you know who else should probably apologize for giving you the most basic summary of the series? The people who made this movie. See, even though I haven't read the books, and at the time I knew nothing about the lore, even I could still feel that the movie was way too rushed. For instance, you know how I just mentioned that Idris Elba's character, the Gunslinger, is the last of a King Arthur-like knightly order? In the movie, this is referenced by a character saying something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, his guns are made from the melted down Excalibur." And that's it. Which is weird, because you would think that explaining what a gunslinger even is, and why they are important, and how they are special because they're a knightly order would have been worth more time than none at all. I mean, why is he so good at shooting guns? Is he the only one able to use a gun? Can he train new gunslingers? None of these questions are addressed. However, this is basically how the movie treats everything. Whether a concept or a character, stuff only briefly gets mentioned, and then the movie moves on without going into too much detail. I'm talking to the point that there are a bunch of characters in the film that I don't think ever even get a name. Then again, maybe I was just distracted by Matthew McConaughey. And no, I don't mean in a I kept checking him out because he's dreamy way. I mean in the sense that every time he was on screen, he made me literally laugh out loud. Based on my research, the Man in Black from the book series definitely seems like a force to be reckoned with. On the other hand, and maybe it's just me, I cannot take Matthew McConaughey seriously with that accent. He never goes full on, alright. But he does say stuff like, "You're everything I expected, just as advertised. And the boy will destroy the tower, all on his lonesome." Something about the way he talks and how his face looks and the way he moves around whenever he's on screen was just hilarious to me. He just has these strange mannerisms and flamboyant movements. I swear, during a certain fight scene, instead of a badass sorcerer, he just looks like an amateur stage magician with the way he, moves his hands around, And in case you needed to lose more faith in his intimidation factor, there's this scene where some characters come home and he's just standing there in the kitchen wearing an apron and cooking chicken. Sure, he proceeds to torture people for info, But I mean, come on. The implication is he broke in, put on an apron, took stuff out of the fridge, turned on the stove, prepared the ingredients, and then just got to cooking while he waited for them to show up. I mean, come on. So yeah. So far, the movie has a rushed story and a debatably miscast villain going against it. However, if there's a good thing going for it, that is the performance by Idris Elba. I mean, I haven't watched every single thing that he is in, but out of the things I have seen, Idris Elba always knocks it out of the park. That includes this role, in which he does a great job playing a lone, broken down gunman. I mean, dang, now I just really want to see him star in some sort of full-length Western movie, you know? That aside, his performance was really good and made the character enjoyable. Likewise, I would say that Tom Taylor's performance as the psychic kid Jake Chambers was pretty good too, so at least there's that. And hey, if you end up getting dragged along to watch the movie, it is only 95 minutes long, so at least you don't have to be there for too long, you know? I think that counts as a positive. All in all, what I am saying is this. Adapting a book or series of books into film is most definitely a daunting task. No matter what, the deck is stacked against you, and people will always cry that the book was better. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't good book-to-movie adaptations out there. Is this one of them? No, not at all. If I, as someone who wasn't aware of the source material, felt that the whole thing felt off, then I feel bad for those who are familiar with the source material and have to see it done so awkwardly. Likewise, I feel bad for Stephen King and how his most prized work wasn't given the adaptation it deserved. So if you haven't read the books, then go ahead and watch the movie, I guess, since you don't know any better. Just know that it will seem off as you watch it. If you have read the books, then I suggest waiting and renting the movie if you're that curious. Though honestly, if you just skip it and reread the books, you'll probably get more out of it. But hey, that's just my opinion. And remember, don't take anything I say too seriously. After all, I'm just a wannabe reviewer. Thanks for watching.